What's up, Ghostbusters fans? Welcome back to the channel. I am DL, back talking about some more Ghostbusters. We're going to be talking about every Ghostbusters movie, including Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is coming right around the corner. I've already talked about the original Ghostbusters movie. If you guys haven't checked out that review, check out the link in the description. It'll take you right to the review. But today we'll be talking about Ghostbusters 2, the much anticipated sequel to the original that came out in 1989, nearly 5 years after the first movie. Oh, it took a while to get to this one, didn't it? Now, if you guys have watched my review for the first Ghostbusters, you guys will know I really enjoyed it. I really liked the movie. I think it's a lot of fun. Definitely one of the more unique Halloween horror type movies, more of a horror comedy, but like I enjoyed pretty much everything in that movie, from the characters to the effects to the the concept. I just thought it was a really fun movie. So of course I'm interested in seeing more with the Ghostbusters. But once again, when it came to Ghostbusters 2, I wasn't aware of its existence. I thought it was just the one Ghostbusters movie and that's it. And of course I knew about the animated shows like The Real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters, but I have not been aware of the sequel. Then out of nowhere, I kept hearing stuff in pop culture and other people mentioning a Ghostbusters 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's a Ghostbusters 2? Where is it? Like, how can I watch it, man? I'm always late, getting to these really popular movies that everyone knows that I don't. Same thing that happened with the first Ghostbusters. It took me a while to even know about its existence. But how did I go this long not knowing there's a Ghostbusters 2? And it was quite a while till I was able to watch it. Like literally maybe like a couple years after I watched the first movie. Like there was no way I was able to watch it. Like I couldn't find it anywhere for some reason. It literally had to wait till, you guessed it, it came on TV. And then when it came on TV, I was so excited to see this. I'm like, yes, I'm going to see Ghostbusters 2, finally. So I sat down and watched this thing. And an hour and 48 minutes later, my reaction was, ooh, that was not good. Yeah, Ghostbusters 2 is one of the most disappointing sequels I have ever seen. It really boggles my mind because, all the directors, the writers from the first film, they came back for this one. Ivan Reitman directed this again, Dan Aykroyd wrote it again. And you got all the cast back from the first movie, so I'm sitting here like, how did this movie end up being so bad? Probably the main issue that I have with this movie is the writing. The writing, like the script, the story, the plot, is utter nonsense in this movie. It is so stupid. And I think the main cause of that is because apparently with the first movie, a lot of people didn't like how adult it was. Like they didn't like the language, they didn't like to see people smoking, they didn't like the hints of innuendo in the first movie because of how over the top and cartoony the premise was, that seems like it would appeal to children. They felt like with this second movie they had to dumb a lot of things down for the kids. And that was a major issue for me, because that's one of the things I liked about the first movie, is that it did feel more adult. It didn't dumb things down. Even though this is an over-the-top, concept, like they didn't feel the need to just tailor it to kids, And then because of that, the humor, the humor was so good in the first movie because it was allowed to be adult, and that made it more relatable, But this movie is just really dumb. I didn't like the humor at all in this movie. Like it just felt so childish. And then going back to the story doesn't make any sense. It's not consistent at all with the first movie. Cause we start this film with the Ghostbusters in a rut. Again. Why do we want to watch that again? First of all, there's like a massive time skip 5 years later, which I guess is it's okay because this movie came out 5 years after the first movie, so that's whatever. But there was so much in between, development that we could have saw with the Ghostbusters in their prime, doing what they do, hunting ghosts. Would have been really interesting to see. But no, we get this massive time skip, and then we just start with them, like they're not popular anymore, they're going out of business. Like, why do we want to see that? Like, this is supposed to be a fun movie, and you start off with them, being sucky again. Like, I think like around when this movie came out, like the Ghostbusters were really popular, like they were at the height of pop culture and stuff like that. People were buying all the merchandise. People were watching the animated shows like The Real Ghostbusters and Extreme Ghostbusters. Those shows I really do enjoy. I might consider talking about them in the future. But like, Ghostbusters was really popular around the time where this movie came out. But you have, the much anticipated sequel to Ghostbusters, and you start with them not being cool. And apparently the big thing now is He-Man, because like they start the film with Ray and Winston going to this birthday party, and all the kids are all about He-Man, and they think that the Ghostbusters suck now.
Look who's here!
Oh, I thought it was gonna be He-Man.
There's something strange in the neighborhood. We gonna call! And it don't look good.
Which is really ironic because the live-action Masters of the Universe movie came out a little bit before this, and didn't that fail at the box office, and a lot of people didn't like it? And now you want to come into this Ghostbusters movie and be all about He-Man? Okay, great. Oh, and Ivan Reitman's son's in this movie. He has this little cameo.
My dad says you guys are full of crap.
Jason.
Well, some people have trouble believing in the paranormal.
No, he just says you guys are full of crap, and that's why you went out of business.
So already you're taking the fun out of the Ghostbusters movie, and it's like, it could be one thing if it added to their characters, them having to deal with, hardships and stuff like that. But it doesn't really add anything to the story. And then once again, we've already saw them go through hardships in the first film. Why do we need to go through this again? Like, we need to be seeing them hunting ghosts. That should be the conflict. A bigger threat coming to the city, like something bigger than Gozer. But, no, they just decided to go with this stupid, city politics bullshit. We don't care about that. And then another thing that's really stupid about this movie is that the citizens of New York don't believe in ghosts now. Huh? Why? Wasn't the first movie like a big phenomena happened where a bunch of ghosts were breaking out and taking over the city, and then they had Gozer that also was, about to destroy the city as well, and then she summoned a giant marshmallow man to, cause panic and hysteria in the town, and all this. And also you had the montage of the Ghostbusters, capturing ghosts as well. All that stuff happened in the first movie, and also the Ghostbusters got in trouble because of that. They were sent to jail because of this hysteria. So the people were aware of ghosts in the first movie. It was a huge thing. All the people were even behind them. There's like a whole crowd of them standing in front of the skyscraper building where the Ghostbusters were about to fight Gozer. So all this stuff happened in the first film. But now in the second movie, they're going to be like, no, we don't believe in ghosts anymore. What? And then what makes it even more ridiculous that we're starting this movie with them in a rut is because the reason why they are in a rut and they're having trouble with financial stuff again is because for some reason they got sued for stopping Gozer in the first movie. And so they took away all their financial stuff because of that. So how do you not believe in ghosts when you have to insinuate that because of the ghost invasion, they will have to get their weapons taken away. It just boggles my mind. It's so stupid. Another thing that bothered me was the development between Dana and Venkman. I actually liked their chemistry in the first movie. It was kind of a will they, won't they type of thing, but I found it charming and endearing. And then by the end of the first movie, they got together, which, set up in, if they continue from there, that we'll actually see them together. We actually see them as a couple. It'll progress them as characters, seeing how they deal with the relationship. But no, that's not what they decided with this movie. Apparently, with in the 5 years that we didn't see, they broke up, and then Dana went and got together with somebody else and had a baby with somebody else.
I should have been your father. I mean, I could have been. I understand.
What? Why would you do that? I hate with movies like they set up where two characters get together and then the next movie they break up for some reason. Off screen, we don't see how it happened or why it happened. They just insinuating stuff. Like, what's the point of you developing them being together in the first film where you're just going to, abandon that plot point completely in the second film? It just... that really angered me because, as I said, I really liked them together and it would have been nice to see them together and I would have been open with them having a kid, but no, they're just doing that. And then we have to go to do this again with Venkman and Dana trying to rekindle their sort of love with each other, which is the chemistry with them in this movie didn't feel as natural as it did in the first film. It almost felt like standoffish between each other.
So, whatever happened to Mr. Wright, anyway? I heard he ditched you and ran off to Europe.
He didn't ditch me. We had some problems, and he got a very good job offer from an orchestra in London, and he took it.
So he ditched you?
And then let's talk about the main villain of the film. Vigo the Carpathian, Vigo the Destroyer, Vigo the Conqueror, whatever his name is. He sucks. He sucks as a villain. He's not good. Doesn't even hold a candle to Gozer in the first film. He has no presence. He's not scary. His motivations, his goal in the movie makes no sense whatsoever. In the first film, yeah, Gozer wasn't in it that much, but you felt like his character was being set up and you felt his presence throughout the movie. But Vigo doesn't have that, There's a couple of scenes where we cut back to him in a painting because he's stuck in a painting the entire movie. Okay, and his design's not scary. He's just an old man that makes some roar sounds and that's it. Just so stupid. And then his whole plan is that he needs a baby to reincarnate himself into a more powerful ghost or something. That doesn't make any sense either, because why would you want to reincarnate yourself into a baby? Wouldn't you want to reincarnate yourself into someone that's actually an adult, a strong adult or something? Because Vigo does look kind of old. Wouldn't it make more sense to reincarnate yourself into a younger, stronger person? But no, he wants a baby. And specifically, he wants Dana's baby. Why? Why Dana's baby? You could have any baby in the world. But what makes Dana's baby so important? And then let's talk about Dr. Janos, played by Peter McNichol. I hope I said his name correctly. The worst character in this film. Just awful. His accent was really bad. He was really annoying. And I don't know why Vigo appointed him specifically to be his minion or whatever. He was so bad. He makes Lewis look like Harrison Ford. He was so annoying in this film. Didn't like him at all. I hate every time you have to cut to him. And then, once again, he's trying to flirt with Dana as well. What? Why? Just why? Oh, and who's that? The mayor's assistant guy, whoever that guy is. He sucks too. Just another guy giving the Ghostbusters shit. You know, for them actually saving the city from ghosts, but it's like, oh, it's another hazard for the city. We gotta shut them down. Like, why are we doing this again? It's the same person as the the environmentalists in the first movie complaining about them for no reason. The main plot, other than Vigo trying to come to life out of a painting, there's this glowing pink slime that just appears in the city, and there's a whole river of it in the sewers. And what this ooze slime does is that it reacts to people's emotions. So if people have negative energy, or if people are angry or whatever, or have hostile thoughts, the slime will react more, and it will cause like bad stuff to happen. But if people are positive and happy and say nice things or whatever, the slime calms down. And apparently Vigo is causing the slime to erupt because reasons. And so they're using this slime against Vigo, using the positive energy to stop Vigo from taking over the city and being reincarnated. What?
You ignorant, disgusting blob!
You're nothing but an unstable short-chain molecule!
You foul, obnoxious moth!
You have a weak electrochemical bond!
I have seen some disgusting crud in my time, but you take the cake. You're just...
This is what you do with your spare time.
This is the sequel to Ghostbusters? An old man in a painting and mood slime? What is this? We literally have a scene where the Ghostbusters are analyzing it, and they pour the slime into a toaster, and then the toaster starts dancing to music.
You're my #1 Christmas boutique gift item.
Another thing that really bothered me about this movie is that it feels like a complete and utter rehash of the first film. Like literally they're just copying plot point by plot point, except this one doesn't feel as inspired or as creative as the first film. Literally, they start off the movie with a supernatural occurrence, just like the first film. Like a supernatural thing happens to Dana specifically, that's connected to the main villain of the film, just like the first movie. The Ghostbusters are in a financial rut, just like the first film. You have a scene where the Ghostbusters have a triumphant capture of a ghost in a cleared out room, just like the first movie, and then it leads into a montage with the Ghostbusters hunting ghosts on a regular, just like the first movie. You have a huge crowd cheering on the Ghostbusters as they face off against the main villain of the film, just like the first movie. You have a giant, like, kaiju monster walking through town, just like the first movie. Like, why are we doing the exact same thing? You have so many other creative villains and storylines that they could have used. Like, go to the TV shows, the real Ghostbusters, the Extreme Ghostbusters. There are so many creative villains and ghosts and storylines that they could have, borrowed from that to make into a really cool Ghostbusters sequel. But they decided to make a kiddied, dumbed down version of the first film. Probably one of the few things in this movie that felt original was the romance between Janine and Louis. Now, I didn't like this either, but it was something different. It didn't feel exactly the same as the first film. The chemistry between Janine and Louis was kind of nice. It was a little funny.
So you want to play Boggle, or
Super Mario Brothers?
You know, I think motherhood's a very natural instinct. I like a child myself. Would you?
But the reason why I don't like it is because in the first film they were just establishing that Janine had a thing for Egon. And they just completely abandoned that in this movie so Louis could have more to do. Which, why do we need to give Louis more to do? I thought he was okay in the first film, but like to give him such a bigger role in this movie just was uncalled for. I mean, I thought it was fine that they made him the lawyer for the Ghostbusters. I thought that was fine, but like to give him a romance and then at the end he's putting on the Ghostbusters uniform like he's the 5th new member of the Ghostbusters, I was rolling my eyes the entire time. It was so stupid. If anyone should have been a new Ghostbuster, it should have been Dana. Dana, like, I could see her being, you know, a new Ghostbuster because all this stuff is, you know, all the supernatural stuff is happening to her, and then she actually has more of interesting development with the Ghostbusters themselves, you know, personally, especially with Venkman, and it's like, it just makes more sense for Dana to become a new Ghostbuster, not Louis. Louis doesn't do anything, and then when he does put on the Ghostbuster suit, like, he thinks he does something by using the proton pack on the outside of the slime dome at the end of the movie, and he thinks he's the one that stopped it, but really it was the Ghostbusters from the inside. It's just, oh my god, it's just so stupid. And then we gotta talk about the Statue of Liberty scene. This Statue of Liberty scene makes no sense. So, as I said, they're trying to use the mood slime to their advantage. They're trying to get everyone in the city to have positive, you know, emotions going in, whatever, is so hokey. First of all, it's New York. You know, it's like there's no way you're going to have everyone have such a positive energy at that moment in time so conveniently, and the fact that they're implying that they bring the Statue of Liberty to life and it's walking down the city and that's what's going to make people happy and positive. What? No, it's stupid. And then consider the fact that the Statue of Liberty doesn't have any limbs. So when they're using the mood slime to bring it to life, how's it walking? There's no way it's walking. It has no limbs, or it doesn't have legs to walk. It's a statue. It should not be able to move. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And then that whole climax at the end with the Ghostbusters, it's just so slapped together. It felt like they didn't even know what they were doing. They're using the slime to stop Dr. Genotes, and they used the slime to stop Vigo, I guess, but then out of nowhere, Vigo possesses Ray, and that doesn't go anywhere either.
Ray, we'd like to shoot the monster. Could you move, please? Ray? Ray? Ray! No! I, Ray, and Vigo shall rule the earth. Be gone, you pitiful ass!
They set that up earlier in the movie, but once again, when they're trying to pay it off in the climax, they literally just you know, have them possessed for a few seconds, and then the Ghostbusters stop that. So there was no point of adding that. Now, is there anything that I liked in this movie? Sure. I liked the scene in the courtroom where the Egon, Ray, and Peter were taking on the Scoleri brothers. That was an entertaining scene, but why wasn't Winston there? Why wasn't Winston with them taking on the Scoleri brothers? He just disappears. I don't understand that. He was in the courtroom before that, so why wasn't he there? But I mean, outside of that, I mean, that was kind of an entertaining scene, I guess. I liked the montage with the Ghostbusters capturing ghosts throughout the city, even though it was rehashing the first movie, but that was one of the few moments in the film that I actually wanted to see, you know, them actually doing their thing, and it actually felt kind of fun. Like I said, Janine and Louis, they had some nice scenes together, even though I don't like them becoming a couple in this movie, but you know, it's one of the few parts that I kind of laughed at. Oh, and I like the Bobby Brown song. I thought that was a really good song. I mean, it's nice seeing this cast again. You know, it's really cool seeing them interact off of each other. It's always nice to see them, even though they have to work off of really bad writing. You know, I couldn't help but feel a little bit of nostalgia seeing these characters together again. So there's that. So yeah, overall, I don't think this is a horrible movie. Like I said, there's some things that are mildly entertaining, and it's nice to see the cast again for this film. But like, the writing was just not good in this movie. It felt like a complete rehash of the first film. It felt dumbed down with them trying to appeal to more kids. The villain was lame. The humor wasn't great. I don't know, this was just a really disappointing sequel. Like, I know there's a fan base for this film. I know there's a lot of people that like this movie, and if you guys enjoy it, that's fine. But for me, I just didn't like it. I wasn't digging it. It was just such a disappointment from the first film. There was so much potential they could have done for a sequel, but they just dropped the ball with it, in my opinion. So I will say that Ghostbusters 2 is trash. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Ghostbusters 2. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below and let me know. Alright, well, the next Ghostbusters film I will be talking about is Ghostbusters 2016. So tune in for that when it comes out. If you guys enjoyed this review, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Ghostbusters fans, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. And remember, I ain't afraid of no ghosts.